today's video, we are going to take a look at Christmas past. Now, I've been so hard at work decorating this home for Christmas to share with you guys in the coming weeks. But what I realized is that I haven't decorated a house for Christmas in 2 years, which means that probably half of you have never seen my old home decorated for Christmas. And our last house was, get yourself under control. Our last house was something special. And so I want to share it with you because I absolutely had the best time decorating our house the year before we moved. And there are so many ideas from Christmas past that I think that you could benefit from and hopefully just enjoy as you decorate your home for Christmas this year. Now, I stole this idea from Kristen Hoffman because I watched her video and I was so inspired, and I thought you guys would probably enjoy that too. So I'm gonna put on some soft music and you can have this playing in the background as you pull out your totes and get organized and make your plan and even start decorating. Just let it play, enjoy it. And I hope that this inspires you, and stay tuned because this house is very decked and I cannot wait to actually share the whole process with you in our new home. We're going to start with an overarching Christmas home tour of 2022. A lot of my old videos are very teaching based, and so I hope that you can benefit from the knowledge that I've shared in seeing how exactly to accomplish each look. Then I'm gonna hop back to 2021, and then I'm going to share even some things from 2020. So we're gonna have a very interesting look at all the different ways that I have used the same decor over the last 4 years. I am Sarah. Welcome to Grace in My Space. Today I have a really fun video in store for you. We're gonna do some holiday decorating, focusing on the mantle, and I'm gonna teach you how to create the foundation of your mantle so that it looks really full and really beautiful no matter the style that you have. We're gonna do a few different looks today, and they're all gonna kind of center around something different. Some might have a statement in the central focal point, some might have more of a focal point down below, some might be really elaborate, some might be really simple, and I hope that you get an idea from one of these different looks. This first look, I want to hang a wreath off of my mirror, and I would traditionally use a command hook, but in years past, that has failed me, and it's fallen and caused things below it to get broken. So I'm trying a different method this year. So we've got the mounting hooks here on the back of the mirror. I'm gonna loop some wire through those and through my wreath. Okay, now I just decided, I don't know what any of these looks are gonna look like until they happen, but this one I just decided is going to look natural. I want it to look like collected from the forest. We've got the grapevine wreath with berries. I'm adding this very long Norfolk pine as the base garland, and we're gonna build from there. All right, we need to start by making sure both sides are even, and then we fluff. The key to any good Christmas mantle is the fluffing. If you take a store-bought garland and you just plop it like this, and you do no fluffing, look at the difference between that side and this side, which I've just barely begun to fluff. True pine branches are not going to be like that. They're gonna be everywhere, they're gonna be untamed, they're gonna be kind of uncontrolled. And so if you want to reflect a natural look, you have to fluff it. For down here, I'm gonna pull them all straight down because this portion is going to have another garland on top and you won't be able to see it anyways. And then once I add it in, I can pop some of them up so that they're interspersed. I will link all of the garland that I'm using in the description. Some of them might not be in stock anymore, but I will still link the exact ones that I have, and you can check and see if they are. Another reason to fluff is because it just makes your garland look fuller. Pretty basic step, but one that some people skip, and then they wonder why their garland or their mantle looks unrealistic or thin. First layer, sufficiently fluffed. All right, now the next one I'm gonna add is the cedar. I have 2 of them, which will equal a similar length to what this one behind me is. And so I'm gonna meet them in the middle, drape them down the sides so that we have cohesiveness on both ends. Now my mantle sticks out from the stone slightly, so this one is actually just tucked in that crack back there to secure it, but I do use nails to secure it into my mantle. My mantle is a barn beam from a 100-year-old barn. It has pits and holes and dents and scratches all over it, so I do not care to add another small nail hole. If you have a mantle that you do care about nailing into, in the description I will link some good fasteners that are able to be used on a mantle that you don't want to destroy. Once you've added your second layer, intertwine the 2 different greens. This makes it look a lot more natural. It makes it look a lot more dimensional and less layered and more integrated. I'll pop some under and some over. So we've got some of that cedar hanging out the bottom along with the pine, and then we're gonna pop some pine up on top and just kind of play with it until it looks pretty good. Now, one thing that I've done every year for about the last 5 years is invested in a quality garland, 1 a year. And in the beginning, you start pretty sparse because you only have 1 quality garland, but each year as you build, you have more to choose from, you have more to work with, And as long as you're buying quality, they're gonna last you a lifetime. So this year was the first year I invested in a Norfolk pine, and I really love it. This was my new garland for this year. In the past, I have a lot of cedar, I have a lot of variation of cedar, I have eucalyptus, and I also have garlands that are not green. And so that adds a lot of dimension and gives you a lot of flexibility as you grow your collection. If you happen to have some old garlands that you do not like anymore, maybe they look fake, maybe they're super cheap and plasticky, who knows? Put them on the bottom of your mantle. Don't discard them or throw them away, because they'll eventually, with the layering, get covered up, but they'll add a really nice, lush, thick base so that your mantle doesn't look thin. And that is a great way to use something even if you don't really like it anymore, just as a foundation to build upon with some of your newer garlands that maybe you like a little bit more. So far I focused on the sides, getting the draping down, and you can see the middle looks weird. Now I'm gonna take one central portion and add it to the middle to kind of cover up all the seams and all the gaps. There we go. Okay, so now we have the middle very lush and full, but since I only had one garland that was long enough to drape down each side, those seem a little bit disproportionate, a little bit thinner. So I do have these pine branches that I'm gonna pop on those sides to give it a little bit more thick fullness without adding anything to the middle, so that it balances it out. We're just gonna pull some of that cedar right over top of the stem. And you'll never know, except I told you. Now this is a good stopping point to show you the foundation of a beautiful Christmas garland. Let me tell you how many pieces that took. To get this look, this full of a mantle, it took 7 different pieces of a combination of garland and stem. 5 garlands, 2 stems flanking either side, and this is a great foundation to start with. Now, like I said before, the reason that I buy one new Christmas garland every year is so that I can get to this point. So it might take you a few years to get to the point of getting a really full, lush look, if this is what you're going for. If you like the more minimalistic look, you don't need half of this, and you can accomplish a beautiful mantle the same way. But to get this look, it does take a collection, and so build it up over time. Now, essentially, this can be look number 1. If you want it to be very simple and you only want greenery, here you go. But we're gonna show you a few more ways. So this is a very natural look. We're gonna glam it up a little bit with some sparkle-tipped garlands, and we're going to just put those on the side and go from there. Now we'll add some of these stems, get a little bit of glitter in there. Kind of look like octopus tentacles, but we're gonna go with it for now. The ever classic gold bell. Can't go wrong. Let's do 2 of those. Now, as you can see, everything I've done so far is just to the front. I haven't put anything up top yet. That'll be our next step. The next look is gonna be a glam. This feels way too natural rustic. A glam forest. That's what we're going for. Look at this. I made this. I am not an artist. I am proud of this because I'm not an artist. But I do have a tutorial on how I did it in the description. I'm going to add some glam on one side. Because I have the bells over here already, I don't want to overdo. I want to balance. These candles are looking a little bit too small for this mantle. Great example of what not to do. These candles are teeny compared to our mantle and just the scale of our fireplace, so we're gonna have to beef that up. Thankfully, I am always prepared. I don't like that either. If you try a few things and every time you're like, yeah, then it means that you're probably done and you should stop. Here is our look number 2. A little bit of glam, a little bit of whimsy, and very simple to do after you've created that first foundation. Here's one final glam look. We just popped some gold candlesticks up top, took down the trees, and that is it. That's all I swapped, but it made a really big difference. Now, I have a mixture of real and fake candles up here. As you can see, that one's my nemesis. Will not stay lit for anything. So, these guys are wonderful. I love using these. In fact, let's just blow that one out right now. I love using these faux candles when I have things on the mantle that obviously I don't want to sit here and watch to make sure that nothing catches on fire. So using these is a wonderful use for mantles, for dining tables where you don't want kiddos reaching over top of flame, for island centerpieces, all kinds of things, even in your windows at night. What a beautiful way to light up your home with simple candlelight in your windows. All run on battery power and with a remote, so you don't have to go around and turn each one on individually, or you can if you want to. This has a flicker feature, which is wonderful as well because it mimics candlelight a little bit better than the ones that are just on all the time. I'll link them in the description. There are countless ways to do a mantle depending on the decor you have. I'm going to do one final look, and I think it's going to be how I end up leaving it, but you never know. Now before I fully take down all the glam, I do want to show you how much swapping art can change the entire look. So we're going from kind of a light and bright to a more moody, dramatic look with one simple swap. Now we're going to just kind of balance out the smallness of this one with some planking trees. And we're gonna make this one a bit more symmetrical. Conversely, you could also add your candles back up, which would be wonderful. There we go, very simple swap, totally different look. For my final look, I kind of want to go a little bit old-timey. You know how in the olden days, they would just go out and collect pine branches or dried oranges or just simple stuff. I just tied a knot with my bead garland here. I want to get back to a little bit of simplicity with a modern touch, and so that's what we're going to do. Alright, we're going to make it equal on both sides to begin with. And we're going to tack this guy right up in the middle. Last year I made this for my cabinet, and it kept, I didn't know if it was going to get moldy in storage since it's real fruit. But it did keep, and there's nothing wrong with it, so I'm going to reuse it. And put it right in the middle. Now look how perfect this little candle holder is. It is old-timey, kind of handmade look, off-centered, so that it's like you can either decorate inside here or leave it for your wax drippings. Or you could put it as a centerpiece, you could put it in your window. That's what I originally bought them for. And I'm gonna see what they look like up here on the mantle. I'm gonna add in a couple others to give it a little bit of variation. I'm gonna have to put something in there to make my candles have variation. And to also make it look a little bit more collected and whimsical and not all the same holder. We're gonna find out just how many candle holders I have for this one. I have this leather strap of bells that I really like. The leather accent that it adds, that's wonderful. It kind of leans more towards the old school look rather than just having the gold bells. And now I'm going to add, perhaps if I could find the end, some chenille yarn. Sure am. There's no end to this. It's just a big loop. Got it. Okay, we're good. Some chenille yarn. It looks like velvet. It's chenille, but it's just a little teeny touch to make it feel a little bit classier. friends, I am Sarah. Welcome to Grace in My Space. Today I'm really excited because we are going to start a 3-part series on Christmas decorating and hosting in the kitchen and dining room. First up first, anything related to command hooks. If you have to hang something with a command hook, do it first because it is guaranteed that you're going to start decorating and you're going to be impatient like me. And you're not gonna wait the 30 minutes. You're just gonna hang your wreath on there and it's gonna fall off. And it's gonna crash to the ground and it's gonna ruin everything. So, command hooks first. 1 hour. It's not 30 minutes. 1 hour. I've never hung a wreath on my hood before, so I don't really know how it's gonna look. Don't neglect the 30 seconds. Just massaging it a little bit. It's 11:52. 1 hour. I'm adding some command Velcro to the back of this so that I can put it on my tile without any issues. And we're gonna hang this up here and see how that turns out. I like my mortar and pestles year round. I think that they can very easily look Christmassy. I'll add some greenery to them. Popped a little Christmas tree in the corner. Might try and raise that up, but let's see how this looks. Again, do your 30 seconds. And I'm gonna pop a clear bowl underneath of this as a riser to give it a touch more height, and then I'm gonna add in some greenery. Can't go wrong with greenery. And that will also help mask that bowl. And these bowls are actually really heavy, so I'm gonna use the weight of them to hold this garland on. I'm gonna do it! And we're gonna stick it here. Right here. Right here. And some pokey things right here. Okay, now we are doing super basic because the whole point is that you want your kitchen to remain functional. You don't want, like your garland falling into your food. You don't want glitter all over your baking surfaces. So we're just gonna stick really, really functional right now. But I am gonna pop up some photos of some more elaborate looks that I've done here in the kitchen in the past. Now, as soon as my hour is up, I'll be able to put up the remainder of this. But for now, I love using oranges or even apples, something that brings a more vibrant color but actually makes sense to have out on your counter. Grab from it, eat from it. It's storage as well as decor for the season, but oranges always scream Christmas to me. I don't know if it's the orange clove combination that you usually see, but a bowl of oranges is part of decor when you put it in something pretty like a gold rimmed bowl. Look how pretty that is. It's just food. All right, moment of truth. Will the wreath stay or will it come crashing down? It's happened before. If you guys have watched my channel for any length of time, you know that things crashing in my kitchen are a very common occurrence, so we're gonna say a prayer. I'm gonna take some wire and just give it a little bit extra length, but enough that it's not gonna show. It needs to come down like 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch matters in design sometimes. Sometimes if you think something looks weird and you don't know why, it's usually because it's either off-centered, or it's too high, or it's too low, or it's not the proper scale, like size, compared to the surrounding areas. So if you're ever in doubt, play with those things when decorating. Okay, that's better. It was too high before. And voila. Now, I don't have a lot of upper cabinets because we have mostly windows in our kitchen. So if you have upper cabinets, a really, really simple, fast, out of the way option is to decorate your upper cabinets with wreaths. Just tie some ribbon, have it draping down and hanging your wreaths on top of the cabinetry, or you can just do like really simple centerpieces on your island that are maybe contained on a tray and really easy to lift up, move out of the way if you need to, but could also sit out all the time because they're not overwhelming the space. Of course, shelving is a perfect spot for some decor, and even just doing tiered trays on your countertop is a great way to kind of keep it condensed, because you want things to be condensed and contained in your kitchen, so if you need to move them really easily, you can. Part 3 of this series is going to talk about actually hosting, things to do to host, things to make your guests comfortable, food to serve for Christmas parties or for holiday parties, so make sure to stay tuned for that to come. Now I have an idea for this long island. If you have an island in your home, that's a great spot for entertainment, obviously. You can put all of your food out in one spot. It can either be like a buffet line, or it can just be kind of like a grazing area where people come throughout the night. And so today I'm going to decorate the island for a hosting get-together. My island is about 10 feet long, so I got 2 of the same tablecloths at different lengths to try and take up the whole length of it without having it puddle on the floor too much. So let's see how we can balance this out. And then in the area that they meet in the middle, we'll just focus some serving pieces that kind of hold it in place, but also mask the seam. Now for this, the more unkept and kind of unfussy, the better, because depending on whether you're going for a really elegant look or for a more casual look, your linens are going to kind of set the tone. And I want this to be like an elegant, casual look. So the elegance comes from having an actual linen or runner coming down the whole island, and then the casualness comes from it being unfussy. But I'm going to put my main piece right in the middle to anchor, and then I'm going to decorate around it. All right, now I have it kind of unfussy-ish, and now I'm going to intersperse a variety of serving items and just spread those out so I know where food will go. I have these candles, and I've pre-burned them because I like the way that the wax looks when it's drippy. It's a little obsessive, I know. Now I like the candle height, not only the holder, but the actual candle stick, to go like this. Like my kids could fly planes through it and it would be their favorite thing ever, because it adds variation to it and it keeps your eye moving down the line instead of them all being the same height, which is another reason that I pre-burned. I let some of them burn a little bit longer than the others so that they would be different heights. And now we need to add the food. That's pretty. Now, I would normally probably add some greenery throughout here, but I'm gonna wait and see how it looks with the food because I don't want it to become super cumbersome. I don't want people kind of like fighting through fake greenery to get to their food. So we're gonna just wait. And that means that you have to come back and see how it turns out in the end, because I do have the whole entertaining experience in an upcoming video. So make sure and hit subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you with the complete. Hello my friends, I'm Sarah, welcome to Grace in My Space. Today is part 2 of our 3-part series on decorating your home for Christmas in the kitchen and in the dining room. And today we are gonna focus on how to create a beautiful tablescape for hosting. Now first things first, to set a beautiful tablescape, you have to know what you have. So I like to kind of set up a staging area on the island first. I get out all of my serving platters. I get out any fancy glasses that I might want to use. I get out the plates, the salad plates, if I'm using bowls, if I'm using coffee mugs, glasses, whatever you need for the type of food that you're serving. I put it all out so I can just see what I have, and it helps make sure that the color palettes that I'm choosing between perhaps a lot of mismatched dishes works together really well. So for this specific look, I wanted it to be really cozy. So we have a lot of gold ribbing on the bowls and some of the serving platters and the plates, and then the decor will have some gold. And then I chose to incorporate this really deep, rich wood tone, which I don't normally do with golds, but I thought it would be really beautiful to ground the space because I have so much white and I have a lot of marble and just the light and airy things. And then I chose to bring in these black plates as a foundation for these salad plates, which will pop really nicely. So once you kind of have everything that you need in one spot, so you know you're not forgetting anything, it's time to dress the table. So I have an idea. This is, of course, completely over the top, 100% unnecessary, but I'm feeling a little extra today. So, of course, not everybody has this option because most people have hardwired dining room pendants or chandeliers, but I don't. So, why not take advantage of my misfortune that there's no electrical lighting in our ceiling? So I have an entire blog post about how I have hung this using an adapter plugged into our can light system because we have no wired lighting in our ceiling. So now, what I think I'm gonna try and do, I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm gonna try it. Here, I think the lighting's a bit better now. That was super dark. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna start with some wire and I'm going to try to connect. They have these little holes at the top where you would hang them from normally. Try and connect them so that they don't just slide down somehow. And the plan is to make them tip to tip. Each time it's like, when's it gonna fall? These stars are very lightweight, so I'm not concerned about them. They're actually lighter than my pendant was. So I'm not concerned about that part of it, at least. Put some hot glue on the tips. See if that's enough to kind of like space it. I don't know why I do these things to myself. Don't break. See where I'm going with this? Definitely gonna have to get a prettier light bulb since it's very exposed. Not quite as hidden as I thought it was going to be. Ah, it broke! Dang it. How could I keep that in place while it dries better? Maybe I just shouldn't have moved it yet. Hot! It's hot. Hot. I'm not going to have any fingerprints in my thumb now. Lord, please. Alright, when I was in the store imagining this, I did not imagine this much space underneath, so thankfully I got these. I think I'm gonna like dangle them down and help mask the bulb a little bit better. Even though I switched the bulb to be a pretty one, it's not like super pretty. So we're gonna try adding. My projects are always way more complicated than they are in my mind. So I'm gonna go for a variety of heights. Yeah, let's go. I should have done this before I glued these things together. You could also use fishing line for this because my wire is gonna be visible, but fishing line is awful to work with. The knots just, I don't know, you probably have to be like a fisherman to know how to make knots stick to it, but they just fall out every time, so I'm going with wire this time. It worked! That took entirely too long, but it's really pretty! Now let's dress the table. We're gonna start with this gauzy, really pretty tablecloth. Don't you dare break. Now look, it's wrinkled and I know it, but it's gonna get fixed later. After I've covered up the majority of the wrinkles, I'll then steam out the rest of them that are showing. Work smarter, not harder. All right, we're gonna start with our centerpiece. I've had these burning because I wanted the wax to be all melty for my photos. Just did what I was about to say that I hoped I didn't do and spilled the wax everywhere. Now, since we have created this, I wanted this to be simple, but still interesting. So I got these really pretty florals. Now, normally I would take a long stem like this and like bend it around whatever I'm putting it in so that if I ever want to use it in a vase, I can. But I don't really see myself ever using this as a vase flower. So I'm just gonna chop those off with some tin snips. Let's set the table next and then see where we need to go. All right, now I've made some progress. I will show you, but I have these candle wreaths that I'm actually gonna chop up because I like the little pine cones and I think they'd be pretty down the center of the table as opposed to being an actual candle ring. We've gone from candle ring to pine cone branch. And we're just gonna tuck. And I'm just cutting it where it's naturally already bound. So then you have your end is secure so it won't unravel. Now we have a couple of options for napkins. These are just very simple linen napkins. We can put them underneath the silverware, we could put them on here, we could put them on the plate, and then we could put the silverware on top. Or, I'm gonna try this. I don't know if I have the right length napkins, but I'm gonna try a bit of a knot. I'm gonna grab it by a corner, and we're just gonna tie it in a knot and see how that looks. So pretty. If I had a napkin ring, that would be really pretty, but I'm not fancy enough to have napkin rings. So we're gonna try again, try and make our own napkin rings with a knot. You know, my first job was a hostess in a restaurant, so I could do like a taco fold, you know, where all the silver are inside of it, but tie a simple knot, apparently that's really hard. Maybe it just needs some fluffing. Usually if things are looking bad, they just need to be fluffed. Hello my friends, I'm Sarah, welcome to Grace in My Space. Today we're doing part 3 of our 3-part series on decorating for Christmas in the kitchen and dining room specifically. And today we are focusing on how to host a party, what to serve, how to go about making a relaxing atmosphere for your guests. So let's get to it. Now we are mid-prep here. That could have been a lot more entertaining for you than I intended. Let's start with drinks. If you want a very simple and delicious non-alcoholic beverage that can be served to adults and children alike, but looks pretty at the same time because let's be honest, that is valuable to me. Then this is a simple little cocktail. We can do 7-Up, Sprite, Fresca, basically anything that is kind of like that lemon lime flavor. And then traditionally I would use white grape juice, but all I could find was white cranberry juice. So this is another take on my favorite, which is on the blog. We basically are doing about half and half. And then the secret weapon, frozen cranberries, because not only are they pretty, but they are also going to work to cool your canister at the same time. Pop that right on your buffet. Now this is the third and final video as a part of my 3-part series. If you've missed it so far, we decorated a kitchen together, we set a table together, and now we're going to be talking all about hosting a party or hosting your family even. This can just be a normal everyday night that you want to make something special for your family, or it can be an all-out extravagant party. So let's get started. Now, as you can see, I have set the island in preparation for the food. Goodbye. Okay, I just had to. It was like a Sound of Music moment. So, now we're gonna get to the food, to the entertaining portion of this series, and that is honestly the best part. But before we get to the food, let's talk about the concepts behind entertaining. Number 1, your guests should feel welcome. So if you are setting the tone for your guests to feel welcome, that means that you are not apologizing for anything in your home. I cannot even tell you how many times I've walked into somebody's home and I've been excited to be there and I have not had any kind of negative thoughts until the homeowner says, "Oh, I'm so sorry that this house wasn't clean. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, let me get that out of your way. Oh, I'm so sorry that, so-and-so didn't do this and this." And they're just apologizing the whole time. And really, it's something that we think that we are doing as a benefit to the guest, but all it actually does is set them on edge a little bit. And it's kind of a little bit of a bad start. So if you are hosting and you have things that your eye sees, just know that it is highly likely that the people who are coming into your home don't see those issues. They don't see the dust on your shelf. They don't see the chip paint on your trim. They don't see your living room furniture as being old. They just want to walk in and be welcome and be a part of something fun. And it's your job as the host to create that atmosphere for them by not apologizing for everything and just saying, "I am so glad that you're here." All right, let's start by talking about food. Besides people, food is the most important part of any entertainment. The key to hosting a relaxing party for both you and your guests is doing grazing foods. So if you do a full sit-down meal, that is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And you will enjoy yourself, I'm sure. But you're also going to be cooking and getting up and refilling plates and refilling dishes, and you're going to be working really hard. And there's nothing wrong with doing a full meal. I do full meals for most holidays, but if I'm hosting a get-together with my friends, then I usually do either potluck style or a grazing meal. And charcuterie is an amazing option for grazing. This cheese is very crumbly, more than I anticipated. But you can put out all these amazing cheeses and meats and nuts and fruit and things that just pair really wonderfully with crackers and bread. And you have created a beautiful, delicious palette that people can graze all night long. Even better is if you do like a charcuterie potluck, where maybe one person brings the meats and one person brings the cheeses and one person brings the fruits and the other brings the jams and the spreads and the other brings the crackers, and you get the picture. Everybody brings something. And it's delicious, but it's not as expensive because everybody is contributing in that way. The key to successful charcuterie is adding as much as you can fit so that you don't have to continually refill throughout the night. Now I have on my blog the 7 essentials for delicious charcuterie in a recipe for you. I will link it in the description below if you would like to check it out if you've never done charcuterie before. This is also a really favorite meal for my family. My kids love charcuterie, and bonus, it's healthy because it's meats. I mean, yeah, they're cured. We're just gonna look past that. Meats, cheeses, fruits, whole grains, it's great. Another fantastic option is to do a potluck, like I said. I love potlucks because most of the time when you have guests over, and I mean, granted, you're not gonna necessarily wanna ask somebody who's brand new to you to bring food, but if you are inviting your friends over and they wanna bring something, right? Like everybody says, what can I bring? You can bring anything. That is the beauty of a potluck. If you're concerned about having like the right amount of sides versus desserts, and you don't want like all desserts, I mean, but why not? So if you are concerned about balance to the meal, then just say, I would love it if you'd bring a side, I would love it if you'd bring bread, I'd love it if you'd bring a dessert. And then they can kind of just do whatever they want. And it always turns out like no one has ever gone hungry at my house during a potluck. Now let's quickly talk about activities. So I really enjoy just getting friends over and sitting and chatting for the entire evening. There's nothing wrong with that. But I have this amazing friend who hosts a Friendsgiving every year. It's the best thing ever. She spends an incredible amount of time putting together minute to win it type games, and they are so fun. If you've never done that with a group of your closest friends, it is a highlight for us every single year. Some other options that you could easily do for food is a soup bar, appetizers and desserts only, or you could do just dessert bar. There is a ton of ways that you can create a potluck that is delicious and simple for the host. I like to repeat the meat, so if you have one like this, just rip it right in half and then do half on one side and half on the other. And that way, no matter where people are on either side of the island or on the table, they can grab all of the different meat varieties rather than having to walk a circle more or less. And I always have extra packages of the meat because the meat does tend to go the fastest. And that way I can really quickly just grab it out of the fridge, pull it out of the package, and restock. Now, one of the reasons that I love charcuterie or a potluck option is because it allows the host to have things at hand prepped behind the scenes that are very easy to just pull out and replenish if food goes low, or if people are kind of in a lull. It's a great spot for you to come back to and say, hey everybody, let's gather back around, grab your next plate of food, we'll move on to our next activity. Maybe that is a minute to win it game, or maybe that is a board game, or maybe it is a white elephant exchange, maybe it's a regular gift exchange. There's lots of options that you can do to make a party really special. Hello my friends, I'm Sarah, welcome to Grace in My Space. Today we're gonna do a little bit of decorating, and I'm gonna show you how to do some simple winter decorating that can serve as holiday Christmas decor, or it can just be for winter. So I've cleared out this space, and we're gonna add a new piece of furniture It's actually not new. It was just in a different area of my home. And create a little welcoming entry. It's still open. All right. Good. We're good. Now I have all of these different framed prints, and I want to create a gallery of winter art that'll span the season for Christmas, for the entire winter season, and for right now, for early winter / late fall. So, that was dusty. The key will be determining whether or not I can keep this and fit everything else around it, or if the mirror has to come down. Now, a lot of people have a method for gallery walls where they lay everything out, or they put craft paper on the wall in the shape of their frames, and those people I admire very much, but I am not that person. I am the kind of person that has one too many holes behind every frame until they get it right. So that's how we're gonna do this. So I'm thinking it's gonna go right there. We're gonna do the whole hold it up and put your thumb where you think it should go and nail it in method. So that's how I do things. I'm going to start with the larger pieces and fill in the cracks with the smaller ones. All right, I've got the gallery wall up, and I have interspersed some actual antique images, some prints, and some oil paintings, and they're just kind of a conglomeration of things that I've found over the years, including one art print set that came with 6 prints, which takes up the majority of the wall. But all the frames are obviously a mishmash. Some of them are brand new, most of them are thrifted, some of them are antique, and that eclectic collection, I think, actually helps it feel a little bit more cozy and homey and not so art gallery-ish, which is what I was hoping for. I'm gonna style the cabinet, but this would be a great look for winter. This would be a great look for Christmas. Now, there are a lot of different ways that you can style an entry table, console table, cabinet, whatever you have in your entrance, but this is a small option. I'm going to show you a larger option as well. I only have 30 inches here so that we have door clearance. So this space is very small. So if you have a small entry, then this is some options for you. We have the ever classic pine cone, but if you wanted to make it a little bit more Christmassy, add a bowl of ornaments, add some greenery coming out of it. There's a lot of different ways you can make it feel Christmassy. I'm kind of going for more of a winter look, so for now we're gonna do some pine cones, and then I'm gonna add in a tree that's mossy, because mossy is cute. Now I'm gonna center this because I don't have a lot of space here. Might need some height. And then I have a lot of gold, not only in the mirror, but also in the frames. So I'm gonna bring some gold down as my third piece. I like to decorate in odd numbers, and that's because it looks the best that way. Got a little bit more height. Let's add in a little leather journal. Not because it has anything to do with anything, but because I like the way it looks. And sometimes that's why you decorate. Though, this could be a really cute guest book. So, if you are doing an entryway, adding a cutie little journal as a guest book, that's kind of a fun idea. I just came up with that, I like it. This one in particular, it helps that it has kind of like that old time feel. It's got the leather wrap, it's cute. We're gonna pop it right here. And now let's take a look at a long console table where you have a lot of opportunity to style it. The top I've kept fairly basic, but there's tons going on down on the lower shelf. So let's walk through a few of these simple tips. First things first, you're gonna see a lot of these battery operated candles. I love them. You just turn them all on. All 6 of them come on with one remote. It's perfect. They also have a candle option where it flickers like a flame. It's wonderful. My favorite thing ever. Because you can put it right there and not worry about lighting your greenery on fire. Now you can see that I have my normal artwork up. I kept it up. It's not really season related. I feel like it's pretty seasonless, so I can easily add in some winter touches with Norfolk pine branches and a simple candle. Also, I have added this year, my son found some antlers shed in the woods this year. So we have an antler shed for the first time ever. It's just a fun little tchotchke, really. I always have a stack of blankets. It makes sense. It's winter, it's cold, but they're also beautiful. And if you choose blankets based on your color palette that you're going for the winter season, then they serve as decor at the same time. I have a stack of books over here that could really stand to be straightened up, but down here, I'm gonna take out a kind of springy feeling plant and this. I'm going to leave my collection of simple leaves, a cinnamon stick, just nature, in the bowl. I'm gonna pop in something a little bit more wintry. Can't really go wrong with a pine tree. Friends, Sarah here from gracemyspace.com. Today we're doing more Christmas decorating. If you have missed all of my Christmas Decorate With Me videos, make sure and check out that playlist. I'll pop it up here and at the end of this video because we have decorated my whole house together, and today we're doing kind of an obscure spot. I would not traditionally decorate my bedroom for Christmas, but I know that there are a lot of people who want that extra cozy feeling for the holiday season in a space that they have kind of created as like a retreat. And so today we're gonna decorate the bedroom. Show you a couple of really easy ways to elevate a bedroom for the holidays in case you're hosting, in case you spend a lot of time in your bedroom and you wanna kind of create that cozy feeling in your spaces, or just because you wanna keep decorating and it's fun. That's a good reason too. So when you're looking at decorating bedrooms, there's usually 2 main focal points. The first is above the bed, and the second is maybe on a dresser or in a reading corner, something that you've kind of carved out as the secondary focal point in your bedroom. And so that's what we're gonna do today. If you're new to my channel, you might have missed one of my biggest DIY feats. I am so proud of this blank wall because if you're new here, what this used to look like is a doorway that walked directly into our dining room, which is not so fun when you're hosting guests and they're sitting at your dining room looking into your main bedroom. And so one of my proudest DIY moments was when I took out that doorway. On the opposite side, I will show you, I created built-in shelves. And on this side, I gave back all of this wall space. I patched the drywall, created a seamless flush wall. We have a mirror here now. Eventually we'll do something a little different, but for now, it just makes me happy. We're gonna start with a sign. Next, we're gonna hopefully create a little bit of magic. Only the tangled situation wasn't so tangled. Each of these stars attached to fishing line so that it's clear, but if you've ever worked with fishing line, it is a pain in the keister. It does not tie knots well. It is very tangly. Case in point. So maybe next year I'll try something not so horrible to work with, but for now, we're gonna make it work. So if you're gonna do something similar to this, play with height variation and depth variation. So some of the stars I have on the wall, and then there's another layer out about a foot, and then there's another one out about 6 inches. And that creates the depth that you need to make it look like scattered stars in the sky. And then also you can see the different height variation. I tried to mix it up. There's a couple that are too close to each other. Like this grouping is feeling a little clustered. It needs variation, but I ran out of fishing line, so it is what it is. And that's why they call me Grace in my space, because my space is all about showing ourselves grace in our homes. Nothing has to be perfect in the eyes of the world. You just have to enjoy it and create a space that feels cozy for you. And this does it for me. And then the next step is to dress the bed. I do not go out and buy Christmas bedding. I just use what I have. We live in Michigan. We have cold weather bedding already. I don't need to go buy more, but I add layers and coziness, and I'll show you some tricks on how to create a cozy bedroom with regular bedding. You guys want to know a secret? I don't literally ever make my bed. The only time I make my bed is when I am doing something for YouTube or for Instagram or for my blog, and I'm sharing how to make your bed, even though I don't make it. Like ever. Like literally ever. But that doesn't mean that I can't share some tips in case you do make your bed. So let's do that. First, let's start with a cozy base layer. I love my down comforter. It is very hard to find a comforter that is warm and cozy but doesn't make you sweat. And this one, ooh, it's so good. So I'll link it in the description for you if you're interested. A lot of people would tell you, to like half fold down your comforter for appearances. And I think that that's a beautiful way to do it. I've done it that way many times. Today though, we're gonna do all the way up to the headboard. I'm gonna add some contrasting colors up here. Just kind of like press it down. We're gonna use this one to create more contrast. Oh, the sucker's heavy. I just love this one. It is really a heavy weight. So it kind of feels like a weighted blanket, but it's not weighted. It's just thick and really has nice texture. Then we're gonna add the gauzy one. This is my second favorite blanket. It is really gauzy and lightweight, but adds just enough of that warmth if it's a chilly night. We're gonna use it to create some contrast. And as you can see, we're kind of doing full comforter, half blanket, another layer to add some contrast. And if this is for your bedroom or for a guest bedroom, you're offering a lot of options for how cold it is at night, which weight blanket they can choose from. I kind of like to cinch it up a little. Maybe it's just the non-bed maker in me, but I like a little bit of a messy look. And then one more blanket for contrast. I like kind of the draped look, like so. And this blanket is really nice for all winter long too, because it's got the pattern in it that feels winterish. And it has a nice texture. And then a cable knit for the bench. Now I recently discovered that on a king size bed, I really like the look of Euro pillows stacked 3 wide, but I don't have 3. So we get 2. We're gonna kind of bring them, see how you can see the edge of it, bring one in, and then we're gonna do another. And then a long, low one for the middle. Now you tell me, would you choose this one, which is shorter and a little taller, or would you go for long and skinny? I'm thinking long and skinny for right now. But truly, either option would be really nice. And now the bed is dressed. A lot of people are gonna look at this and they're gonna go, I would always just throw all those pillows on the ground. Yes, that is what you do with throw pillows. I know very few people who actually make their bed to this extent every day. But if you're looking to dress up a guest bedroom or you do like the full-blown look, this is the way to go. There's lots of different varieties. You could take out a couple of the different larger pillows and just have a single layer of pillows. You could just do your bed pillows. It's really up to you. All right, now over here in my little cozy corner, we're gonna do a little something on the shelves and call it good. little globes are so cute for a bedroom. They are battery operated and they just create a little cozy, kind of like nightlight glow. And here you have it, fairly extravagant Christmas decor for a bedroom, but you can also use this idea in any area of the home. Hanging these stars creates kind of just like this magical little feeling. I did it in my entryway last year, and I will put that in the description below so that you can get the tutorial for how to hang these stars in its entirety. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed just seeing some cozy spaces being created for Christmas, and I'll see you next time. Hi friends, Sarah here from graceinmyspace.com. Today we're doing more Christmas decoration, this time in the kitchen, and we're gonna talk about creating moments. Let's talk real quick about creating moments. When you think of decorating your home, usually people look big picture. They want to decorate everything. They want to get the tree up. They want to get the mantle decorated. They want to have shelving decorated with collections. And all of those things you can find on my Christmas Decorate With Me videos. But what I want to look at today is more of a mentality of creating moments of pause. You know, the holidays are so notorious for just the to-do list and constant consumption and go, 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 get things done, get things bought. And very infrequently these days are we giving ourselves time to rest and just enjoy the moment. And so we're going to create some moments today. Now, part of creating those moments that we want to create in our spaces is just taking the bigger picture, throwing it out the window, and looking more narrowly at a single space, a single centerpiece, a single accent, and just taking time to appreciate those small moments that you can create with decor and give yourself some peace and some rest in your home. And creating those restful and those peaceful moments within your decor and within your home doesn't mean that it has to be super simple. It doesn't mean that it has to be really elaborate either. It can be whatever speaks peace and rest and comfort to you, because everybody has a different personal style. And so I hope that I can give you a few different ideas, no matter if you are kind of a maximalist Christmas person or a minimalist Christmas person, and that you can walk away thinking, okay, I could do this in my kitchen or in my home and create a moment of rest. So let's get started. We're gonna start right here with my open shelving. So you can see everything that's out right now, I use year round. I don't swap any of this out. These are everyday dishes. I have a collection of mortar and pestles that I just really enjoy, and they're out all the time, and I think they're pretty to look at. And so doing this moment creation also allows you to keep things that you have every day, year round, on your counters or on your shelves, keep and not have to go store them somewhere else, because you're just inserting little teeny pieces here and there. Gotta start with a little Christmas tree. Everybody always asks, doesn't your open shelving get dusty? And yes it does. I do not have a home that creates no dust. But the dishes get used every day, so they get washed every day, so dust doesn't accumulate on those. And you just dust the shelf when you need to. All right, we're gonna start with the tree. This cutie little tree is like a moment all on its own. And that is what I love about creating moments, because I can put everything back that was already up there, and just the swap of my pothos plant to a Christmas tree makes it feel festive. Moment number one. If you need a little bit more festivity, add a couple bottle brush trees. I'm satisfied with this moment. Moving on. All right, next we're gonna create a little moment on the end of the cabinet with another cabinet. If you missed this DIY, I'll pop it up here. You better go watch, because you're gonna learn some things from all of my mistakes. Now, if you're looking for a really simple way to add a festive touch that doesn't take up any counter space, it's not gonna be hindering you, pop a wreath on a cabinet. I have secured these with nails on the inside of the cabinet, just holding the ribbon on. But if you have nice cabinets and not 100-year-old cabinets, and you don't want to put nails into them, you can use duct tape, you can use command strips, and it's just a really easy way to create a festive look. On the corner over here, I have a super cute little Norfolk pine. I love it, it's real. I just got it from Walmart. It was $15. You can also buy them online. I will link it in the description, as well as some faux options that are really realistic looking and would be great year after year. So this little guy, you buy him like this, pop it in whatever container you have. This is just a vintage crock. You can use a basket. You can decorate it with wrapping paper. You can do all kinds of things. And then I just have this really simple little bottle brush tree and some homemade pottery that I have used as the base. Up here I have a basket full of pine branches, and it's just really, really easy. If you buy a real pine tree and you cut off the bottom branches to create room for it to go into the base, save those branches, put them inside a crock, put them inside of a basket, put them outdoors in a planter. It's a great way to use those pieces instead of throwing them away. And now this little corner of my kitchen makes me so happy. I just smile at this cutie little tree. I don't know why it makes me so happy. It's just simple and plain and peaceful. And at night, the tree is glowing. I light candles right next to it, and it just makes this place feel really magical. All right, next little moment we're gonna create is a little detail on the windows. I've done lots of different decorations over this large span of windows, which is currently very blown out in the video. I apologize for that, I'll make up for it. I have this super cute snowflake garland. I only have 2. I really needed 3 in order to span 17 feet. So instead, I'm going to just put it right in the middle. Use these little teeny tacks to hang it right into the window trim. What? Huh. Apparently this one's not long enough. Here's what we're gonna do. Does that look center to you? There we go. Once you know it, it needs to be higher. And there we go. A couple other moments that you can add to your kitchen. Now, about a year after we moved in, we renovated the kitchen, we added this 17 feet of windows. So you might not have this many windows, but you could add a single wreath, you could just do snowflakes if you have one window in your kitchen. There's lots of different ways to do a smaller amount of windows, or if you do have a large amount of windows, this is one way to mix it up. All right, now we're gonna create a little moment on an island. If you maybe have an island or a peninsula, that's just a really nice space where you can do a centerpiece of some kind that's kind of out of the way of the prep space. You can either do like a massive centerpiece, this is 24 inches wide, or you can do a smaller size. I like to put my centerpieces, especially in the kitchen, on a tray or a pedestal, Lazy Susan, whatever the case is, that you like or that you already have on hand, because then if I need the space, I can just do this, and it's gone. So for this one, I'm actually gonna use a smaller pedestal. I lied, Big Mama needs a little bit of a bigger space. So, cute reindeer, maybe it's a Santa, maybe it's a snowman, maybe it's a snowflake, I don't know, whatever you have. Use a bigger piece and then wreath, candle. And that's all that there really is to it, just to create a really simple, cute moment. Maybe a little something something right here too. Alternatively, smaller pedestal, wreath, candle, and that's it. You can also do like a wood bowl or any kind of bowl, an ironstone bowl. Grab some greens. This is actually, I think it was like a vintage or an antique toolbox. But pop some greens in there or some pretty florals like this. Just have them draping over the edge. Obviously fill it up. I only have one piece left because it's all over my house everywhere else. Fill it up and make it a really pretty single focal point. You can do a simple bowl full of ornaments. That always looks pretty. Even better, dress it up with some greens. I just popped a wreath underneath of it and set it inside, but you can also put evergreens or pine, juniper, cedar, all would look really pretty kind of around the base, and even maybe spilling out the top a little bit. I'll show you a similar look. This is actually one of my favorite centerpieces. It is an antique ironstone bowl, and I have wrapped a cedar garland around on the inside of the bowl and then placed candles on top. Now, I only like this if I'm like right here because the candles feel tippy to me. But if you used battery operated candles that aren't a fire hazard, that would be even better for something like this. If I had the same color fat candle here as my skinny candles, I would mix and match, but I don't really like how that looks, so take that back. His head is really just looking the wrong way for all of my arrangements. Should be facing that way. For the final look, I think I like a combination. Play around with it, have fun, and you can create a really simple moment on your island or on your peninsula, or even in the middle of your countertop if you don't have one of those two things. It's also easy to just do this with. Hi friends, Sarah here from gracemyspace.com. Today we're tackling more Christmas decorating, and this time we are focusing on how to decorate shelves or layered bookcases or a shelf over a buffet, and just give you some ideas for how to group Christmas items in a single space with shelving. So I did a fall decorate with me for this cabinet, and today we're swapping it into Christmas decor. So today I'm going to give you 3 different ideas for what you can do in an area where you have a lot of shelves in one space. Number 1, display a collection. Number 2, use nature. And number 3, incorporate your normal, like everyday decor, like what I have in here right now, but make it festive and seasonal. That way you don't have to go out and buy all new decor. You also don't have to swap out all of your decor, and you don't have to store all your old decor. It's a very simple way to create a festive look with the pieces that you display year round. So let's get started. First things first, I'm going to take out the things that feel kind of fallish. There's not that many. Most of it I actually could really just keep in here, but we're going to take some things out and just make it look a little different. Take out the fall colors, even though this one in particular, that could be really pretty for Christmas. First, I'm gonna set the tone with this. Nothing says holiday, Christmas, winter more than an evergreen wreath. Yeah, it's gonna go right there. All right, so I've gathered a bunch of stuff sitting on my floor. You can't see it, but I can. And we're gonna start on the top shelf. I'm gonna leave everything that was up here. Oh man, should have worn a different sweater. And just add a few strategic Christmas touches. Next, I have an idea, but I really don't know if it's gonna work. If you have followed me for any length of time on any of my platforms, the blog, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you know that I try things. I'd say 95% of the time they work out okay. I have this 9-foot garland. I don't wanna cut it up, but I need more greens and I don't wanna go buy more. So I'm gonna try something. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. I have 3 of these paper mache bowls. They're my favorite. They're so fun. And I'm gonna try and make it look like there's greenery in each bowl without taking the garland apart. I'm just gonna pop some books in here because there's about a 4-inch drop to the bottom of this cupboard. So right now they look a little crazy, but just wait. I don't know about you, but I always need more, but I don't want to buy more. So when you're doing like filling bowls like I'm doing right now, or I don't know, when you're filling stuff and you need more, use something on the very bottom first as padding to give you the height that you need to make your bowl look full. I'm just gonna fill in some of the gaps inside the cabinet. Wreaths are a really fun way to just add some greenery, add a little bit of holiday coziness without having to have a lot of skill in applying it, because you just plop in place. Candles look really beautiful inside of these, but I'm gonna put this, which is on a pedestal right now, inside of it and see how that looks. It's feeling a little bit bland, so I want to add a bit of color, and it's gonna also bring out some of the shininess of the mercury glass and the other metallics. We could leave this as is, close the doors, I'll show you what it looks like. Or we could put a finishing touch. Next, I'm going to show you collection. No matter what your style of decor is, grouping a collection into one space is a really fun way to make an impact, to keep a tradition, to make some memories, and it's really easy to style. Now, if you're really not into the like traditional holiday decor, if you don't want Santas, if you don't want snowmen, you can also display any collection. I have a collection of ironstone that I could very easily put in there and then intersperse with some cedar or with some pine and have it look really festive. In fact, maybe we'll do that just for fun today. Now, I like to group things in groups of 3, but I don't have enough of my collection to actually fill this. As I add to it, I would be able to do groupings like this, but since I don't have enough to make it look cohesive, we're gonna do one on each shelf. And now I'm displaying an everyday collection, has nothing to do with Christmas, but it feels Christmassy down here. I'm really liking the simplicity here, but if you are a maximalist, you could add greenery, you could add poinsettias, you could add gold accents, bells, anything that kind of drapes outside of the picture, or little accents around the bases. All of that would be really beautiful too. So for the final look, I wanted to do something kind of collected and natural and free. So I'm gonna focus on things that you can either find outside or are a natural material. I went out in my yard to collect pine cones, quickly realized that this is the only size pine cone we have. And for the final touch, have you ever used a flosser thingy to make an orange garland? Me neither. Think it'll work? Here we go. It worked. I didn't think it was gonna work. Losing my light, but what I want to show you is some of the natural elements that I just gathered from the yard. Obviously the oranges are the focal point, they are the most vibrant, they are the most unique, and they're really easy to do. You just slice up oranges really thinly and then you bake them at 250 for 2 to 3 hours depending on how thick and how big your pieces are. These are just cutie oranges. If you do full-size oranges, then they'll take a little bit longer to dry out fully. Then I've got my collected pine cones, which are a little comical, but it's a story to tell, okay? Then I added in some dried baby's breath, the pottery elements, all of the greens, and then the ornaments have linen. So all of those elements are really nature oriented. We have the bottle brush trees, which are obviously not a natural material, but they mimic nature with being a Christmas tree style. Then we have the wood elements, and then up here I just added a really pretty glass lantern that adds a little bit of a glow. Obviously, you will not light this lantern with fire. Grab a battery operated candle. Friends, Sarah here from gracingmyspace.com. Today I am going to show you how I take this mantle and turn it into this. Isn't it pretty? One of the first things that I do is get all of the totes out. I lay it all out kind of by category. I place similar stems into groups, all of the bells, all of the garlands. I drape over the railing to see what kind of colors and textures I have. And I just get a good lay of the land before I make a plan for how it's gonna all come together. What I do is every year I buy one new garland that is really nice. It has like the real touch quality to it. It looks and feels real and has a different texture than ones that I already own. And that way, over the years, you can see I have developed a stash of Christmas garlands that will look really nice when they're layered together, or I could use them around the home. This is a really easy way to build up your decor stash rather than buying like 6 new garlands in 1 year, which is really expensive. Spend $20 to $30 a year, depending on the year. This year, they're a little bit pricey. But you can find some really nice ones that I'll link for you in the description. And when you put them all together, it's gonna create a really lush and gorgeous Christmas mantle. All right, first things first, I have a wreath that I want to hang on my mirror. Normally I would use a command hook like this with the appropriate backing, but I don't have the appropriate command hook backing, so I'm using the Velcro version of it, one on one side, the other side on the mirror. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this up first because if you ever use command strips, you know that they need time to cure. And that way it's curing while I'm styling the rest of the mantle. One of the benefits of having a barn beam mantle is that I can just nail into it. It's 100 years old or more, and so it's already beat up. It already has all kinds of character on it, and so a couple of nail holes isn't gonna impact anything. Now I still need to situate this, but for a great example of how it looks with one garland, I'll pop up the finished picture so you can see the difference when you just layer, 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 layer. It makes a huge statement. When I do multiple layers of garland, you want to make sure and bend out your individual stems because you're gonna have a lot of fullness added and you don't want it all to be in one space. You want it to kind of flow and look drapey. See the difference between this side and this side? Now you just pull it down the rest of the way. Now the next piece I have is this frosted garland. I have 2 of them, which is what I need because I need something that will span the rest of the mantle. Eventually I'm gonna run into garlands that I only have 1 of that won't span the entire length of the mantle, and then I'll add those strategically. But for now, for the base layers, I wanna use ones that will go from end to end. The next few layers of garland are going to rest on the first one, so you want to make sure that your first one is really secure because a lot of the weight of the entire mantle is going to be on that first garland. The next piece I'm going to add has some girth to it. It's got a grapevine on the back to make it really thick and substantial. I'm going to put it right in the center. This garland is super full and it would be really great as a focal point, but what I need is the ends to be full because they are looking sparse. So I'm actually gonna cut it in half. I do have this really beautiful garland that I used in my Christmas tablescape, which I will pop up here for you if you missed out on that video. But when I put it up here, it feels wrong mixing that one. I did just recently get this one, which is a 9-footer. It will span the entire length, so I think I'm gonna finish it off with this, see how it looks, and then add in my sticks, my stems, my picks, my sticks. Nope, I don't need it. Instead, I'm gonna go ahead and add these in, make it much fuller with various types of greenery. Eucalyptus stems are one of my favorite. They're really delicate. You can also then repurpose these for any season. Next I have these glittery stems. I don't even know what it is. I don't know what the plant is, but it's pretty. Then we have these beauties. Kinda don't want to split them up, but I think I need to. So if you're working with stems like this, wire cutters don't do diddly, but tin snips, they work really well. Next, I'm gonna add bells. I love these bells. They're hard to come across right now, but I will link up some options for you in the description if you like these. I have these really fun little picks. I'm gonna pop some of these in there, snag them from around the house because I didn't buy enough. So you'll see them multiple times this year. Save smallest pieces like this for the last because these ones you can then use to fill any holes or gaps that you have left from your bigger pieces. And they're really good at masking nails, masking where different garlands connect, and they're also just pretty. Now, depending on your taste, you can either leave it as is, or you can add twinkle lights, because twinkle lights, they make everything better. These ones are a wire, a really, really delicate thin wire that are battery operated. All right, here we go. Now this wreath came pretty plain, so I'm gonna add some bells to it. Not so sure. And here is look number 1. It is elaborate yet simple because we just focused on the mantle garland. So if you're looking for a statement making design, this works, but you can always add more. You can always add more. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna go symmetrical. Leave it bare like this, or we can add in some greenery around the base. I don't have a lot of greenery left because it's all on my mantle, so I'm going to use wreaths. Enjoyed seeing my Christmas mantle come to life. I love that with layering, you can create anything from a very minimalistic look all the way up to something fairly elaborate like this. You can even get more elaborate. You can do asymmetrical garland just cascading down one side. You could do it really crazy all the way to the floor on both sides. And it is all about what makes you feel cozy and warm and magical for your holiday season. I've done a lot of different looks for my Christmas mantle over the years. I'm gonna link up some options for you in the description if you wanna go see all the variety that I have done in years past, even in our past house, which was a stone fireplace all the way up and was a very different feel and look than this fireplace. And I hope that you enjoy those too. You know, the one thing that I think would make my mantle feel complete right now is if I had a fire going, but it's broken. I'd love to hear from you guys. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of how this turned out, but I'd also like to know how you guys traditionally decorate your mantle. Do you like to go all out? Do you like to keep it minimalistic? Let me know in the comments. I almost forgot the stockings. Sarah here from GracieMySpace.com. Today, we are going to transition my dining room from fall decor to the holidays. Right now we have everything cleared away. We have a nice, very simple tablecloth that it's been ironed. It's been ironed multiple times. I steamed it, I ironed it, and now we're calling it good. So I'm going to use this really beautiful marble cheese board, and I'm going to put it right in the center. I'm gonna start by adding this really pretty, simple white garland, run it down the table. And what we're gonna do is pull out each individual stem or branch as far as it will go, going kind of like every other, so that you have some branches on each side of the table going up and down. Now I won't always do this. Sometimes I just leave it in the center, but I have things that I want to go on the table, and so this is going to really make one garland go a lot further in the way that it fills the table. All right, see how that really spreads out the impact that this one single garland has across the whole table, and then we're gonna fill it in. Next I have this bundle. We've got 3 separate stems and they're really drapey. It adds a pop of color. We're doing white, silver, and gold on this. And with a little bush like this, you could either cut off each individual stem and place it, or you can just pull it apart a bit, just spread out the tentacles. That's kind of what they look like. And keep it in one piece. So I'm just going to kind of place it so that it splays out over the table. One of the biggest mistakes that people tend to make with faux is not doing this. A lot of people keep it together in one chunk, but it goes a lot further and you have to buy less if you use the wire to bend it out. And I'm going to hide that stem with the other pieces. Now at this point I'm going to put our focal point, because then I need to build around it. I don't put it earlier because I want to be able to put all of this on the table first, and then we add just a really simple grouping of stems. When you have a large number of the exact same stem, it makes a really big impact, makes it look really full. And it's a really easy way to do a floral centerpiece if you do not have floral bouquet making skills, which I do not. When I try to piece together a lot of different looking flowers, it looks really weird and dumb. But when I can do this, it makes it very simple. Remember, bend your stems. It'll give it a little bit more of a lifelike look. Every holiday table needs a little glow, so I'm going to add these really pretty votive holders. Got 2 for each side within the greenery, and that is going to really pick up all the glitter in these pieces and make it even more glowy. All right, I've got a little deer to add to my centerpiece here. Got a couple to put on the shelf. And then I like to layer in other kinds of garlands. They don't have to be greenery, but this just will add a little bit of shine, sparkle, and it's a pretty touch. And then the final piece is going to be adding in these picks. They're really fun. They kind of look like thistles a little bit. I don't know what they are, but they're pretty. So we're going to just pop them into the greenery. And it's going to be really glowy. I will specifically put them around the candles so that the candles can illuminate that glitter and shine that they have. And really good placement around the centerpiece so that that's highlighted too. Look how pretty these are. The final touch, we've got really pretty placemats that are going to add even more of that shimmer and shine. And some disposable plates because that's how I roll for holiday get-togethers. But just because they're disposable doesn't mean that they don't look pretty. And there we have it, Christmas, holiday, entertaining tablescape decor, whatever you want to call it, it's pretty. It glows, it's magical, it's cozy, it's elegant, and it was really easy to put together. So you can have a table that looks like this or something similar using the items you already have at home. You can do it in 15 minutes and your guests are gonna be like, whoa, you must have spent hours. But really, it's just about piecing together specific elements using good color schemes, keeping it pretty simple as far as the trinkety stuff goes, and using mostly things that have the glitter, the glow, the metallic elements. They really elevate a table and the way that it looks and make it look like $1,000,000. One of the really easy tips I have for you today is go with metallic colors, gold, silver, copper. If you're looking for something that feels really elegant, those metallic tones really heighten a space. They reflect really well if you're using candles or if you have soft lighting, and it makes the whole room glow, and it's so magical. I obviously went with gold, silver, white. I would love to know in the comments what you guys are doing for your color scheme this holiday season. Drop it in the comments and maybe everybody can get some inspiration from each other. Friend Sarah here from graceinmyspace.com. Today we're gonna start Christmas decorating. Now here in Michigan, I do the Christmas decorating outside first because it's frigid if I wait any longer than the beginning of November, and I just wanna get it done and get it up, and that way I'm not decorating in the snow. And today I'm going to show you how I transition my porch from fall decor and do some really specific things to make sure that I'm maintaining our exterior, and how I decorate it for Christmas. I can hardly even believe how beautiful these ferns still look in November. In Michigan, ferns never last this long outdoors in Michigan, and I hate throwing them out, so I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna replace them in a different area. Almost done. All right, I'm gonna wash down the doors because they end up getting kind of mildewy over the summer. So I'm gonna wash the doors. I'm gonna clean up all the leaves. If you guys need a hand-powered what are these called? Blower. If you need a hand-powered blower that's really easy to start, Like, I can't start our big pull cord blower. This one has been a lifesaver because battery operated, super small and compact, but it still takes care of the mess. So if you've never looked at your front door, it's probably dirtier than you know, because I don't know about you, but a lot of times people don't use their front door as much as they do like a garage door, a side door, back door. And so every seasonal change, I also clean up the mildew off of our wood doors with my thieves cleaner and just an e-cloth, and it makes it look a lot better. See all that mold and mildew? Let the thieves cleaner sit on it for a while and then just wash it off. I always start with the base layer. Obviously it makes the most sense. Put the rug down first and then you can decorate around it. Next I'm gonna pop some wreaths on the doors. You can use swag, you can use ribbon, you can use wreaths, you can leave them naked. Anything looks pretty because eventually it's just all gonna be magical at the end anyways. Next, I'm gonna add a large tree. This is the first year I've done a big one. Usually I flank each side of the door with smaller Christmas trees, but this year I wanted to kind of make it a little bit more impactful. So I went with a full-size one and it's so pretty. I can't wait. All right, I have the tree up. Isn't it pretty? Need to do a little fluffing maybe, but I just have this fake snow. It's like batting that I'm gonna put around the base. Tree like this, mine is pre-lit. Either put lights on it, you know what, you gotta put lights on it, right? It's outdoors, the glow at night would be so magical. So put lights on it, and then you can decide if you wanna leave it bare like it is right now, or if you wanna add some really pretty non-breakable ornaments. And I'm gonna try and do that and see what it looks like. I love the way it looks bare too, but I think that the glow of ornaments at night will be so pretty. Now since this is outdoors, obviously you don't want your ornaments to fall off even if they're not like shatterproof, but you can either use the traditional ornament hook and like squeeze it onto the branch, or you can do what I'm gonna do and use floral wire, cut it to length, and then like literally tie it onto your branches so that it's a little bit more stable. I think it's done for now. I might tweak it a little bit. You wanna see? So delicate and pretty, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like glowing at night because that's gonna be way better. Let's decorate. Now let's jump right in. Unfortunately, the day that I filmed, it was extremely sunny, which made half of my shot shadowed the entire time, and it was extremely windy, so you couldn't hear anything I was saying. So you get to hear this wonderful voiceover as I describe my new absolute favorite cedar topiary balls. These are an excellent quality. They have a really nice green tone to them. They're not overly plastic shiny, and they're also not overly bright green. And when they come very squished in a square box, and so make sure to fluff those and then pop them right into your planter. They're 14 inches and can fit into most outdoor planters. And then you have evergreens all year long that you have to do nothing with and are very small to store. Next classic is, of course, a front door wreath.
I am not actually a fan of a bright red front door, but for Christmas, it really works and it draws out the red berries in my wreath. And I'm also just using a simple Norfolk pine while the weather is still nice. It'll come inside eventually, but it's pretty for now. Now, our front porch has 0 outlets outside, which is very sad, but thankfully we live in 2024. Soon, just jumping ahead. And they make solar powered outdoor lights. So we're gonna give this a try and hopefully it is a really great solution. Sometimes it's the little things in a product that I appreciate, and in this one, it is that the cord is unlighted for a while. So I don't like it when I have something plugged in or a power source like solar power and then this random lit strand that goes up to the top of my railing, because it just looks out of place. So this gives you a nice unlit strand and then the lighting starts where you want it to, and that is genius. Now, this is the first time I've ever decorated this front porch since it's new to us, and I am finding certain things like brick and PVC trim. These are all things I haven't really encountered before, so I had to come up with other solutions for hanging things. And so I grabbed a tension curtain rod and I'm draping a 15-foot garland over it, and then I'm using that to stabilize a beautiful garland over the front door.
I hope that you enjoyed watching all of the Christmas past come together, and stay tuned. I have so much to share with you for 2024.